Hello everyone, welcome back to the Practical Ethical Hacking Hands-on course. So as you may notice, well, first of all, congratulations on completing the course. Now we are into the CTF section of the course. So in these last sections, we'll be practicing with the CTF with our newfound hacking skills and see what we can do. So what is a CTF before I start? Well, a CTF is known as a capture the flag game. And what a capture the flag game is basically hacking gamified, all right? So remember, we learned all these hacking concepts. Well, now we are going to put them to use. And, instead of just hacking anywhere and everywhere, hacking anyone's system or, causing harm to any people, we can do CTFs. So what CTFs do is they allow us to practice our hacking skills in a gamified manner. All right. So we can practice our hacking skills in a gamified manner and we can earn points while doing this, and it gives you a competitive feeling. So it's just like playing games, but instead of, playing games or shooting, you are now just hacking within systems. All right. So these are known as CTFs, and there are multiple websites that host these CTFs for you, and most of these are free. So there is TryHackMe, which you already saw, which is tryhackme.com. Then there is Hack the Box, which I believe is a little bit advanced for newer users. So this is Hack the Box here. So yeah, as you can see, this is Hack the Box, and then there is TryHackMe. There is also OneHub, which allows you to download CTF-based vulnerable machines online. So if you search for OneHub, you can go there. So it provides you with machines to download and then practice hacking on them. So yeah, this was basically an overview of CTFs. So we'll be starting with TryHackMe. So the first thing that you need to do is you need to join there. So you can click on this green join button. And now it says for a username, email, and password. So my username would be qdude_instructor. Let's see. I can't keep it more. So I'll just say qdude with a dash in between them. And my email would be the email which I was using. So let me open my mail here. Let's see what email I have logged in here. So this is the previous mail in which we practice phishing. So yeah, this is my mail here. So this is my email here. Let me just copy it. hack.qdude@gmail.com. So I'll just type it here. hack.qdude@gmail.com. If I can spell Gmail correctly. Yep, that is correct. hack.qdude.com@gmail.com. Yeah. And now I need to create a super secure password. I can use this saved generated password by Firefox. So I'll just go with that and it will save the password for me. So I'll click on the I'm not a robot button and then we can click on sign up and we can tell it to update. And it says what is your experience level. So we'll go with beginner and we'll continue. And so let's see. Yeah, we are starting to see if cyber is right for me and we can continue. So it shows us all these new learning paths, but we don't need to actually, use any of them. So you can just click on any of them. So when you get to this path section, what you need to do is you can obviously start here and, start practicing everything. So if you want to, increase your skills, you can come to these sections and start everything. But we'll be taking a basic overview. So what I suggest doing is you click on this learn tab again, and then you should get here. And then you can go to search, and in here, you can type simple CTF. And as you can see, we have a simple CTF here. So we'll be starting with this. I suggest you start with this, and then you can go to the other rooms and, start learning more and more about everything. Start learning how TryHackMe works and how CTFs work. So I can click on this simple CTF. And if I open my mail, I should have gotten a thank you mail from TryHackMe. So they are asking me to verify my email. So please do this by time. So click on the verify email button so that we can verify our email. And now it says account has been verified. So perfect. So now we can come to our own account and we can see this is the simple CTF. So now what we're going to do is we're going to start hacking this. So the first thing that you need to do is you need to click on this join room button. But before we do that, let's grab a VPN key. So what is a VPN? Why are we using it? So as I told you before, VPN is a way of tunneling our connection from one computer to another. And since we want to hack this computer, perform security testing on this computer, we either need it to be, on the open internet so that we can connect to it, or we need to be on its local network, or we need to have the machine on our local network so that we can practice hacking on it. And as you may have realized, it is not conventionally feasible or expected or a good thing to keep these machines, open to internet. So that is why they're kept behind VPNs, and you can use VPNs to access these machines. All right. So what I'll do is I'll go to the first thing that you need to do is you need to come to your profile and click on the access button. So as soon as you are here, it will give you open VPN details. So what you need to do is you need to select a VPN server here. Yeah. So you need to select a VPN server here. You can select the closest one to you. Since I'm in India, I'll be using IN regular one. So yeah, IN regular one. And then what you need to do is you need to click on this download my configuration file. You need to download this file and this will allow us to, I got a 404. Let's try doing that again. So download my configuration file. Okay, so maybe let's click on regenerate and see what happens. Maybe we can get a new key. So it seems like IN regular one has some problems. I'll just click on regenerate once and see again if that can work. If not, then I can download some other key too, no problems with that. Let's try to refresh the page. Obviously, you should not be getting these kinds of errors when you're doing. So let's click on regenerate and see if we can get a new key. So it says that it has been regenerated. Please wait a few seconds, and I've waited a few seconds, and now I can click on download. So I can download this file. Apparently, I can't download it for some reason. Let's try to, let's see if we can do this. Can we save it? Cannot save it. It will save the whole page. We don't need to do that. So let's try doing EU regular one. Let's see if that works. So we have changed it, and now I can regenerate the key. And it says the key has been regenerated. Now let's try downloading it. You click on download, and yeah. So we get this VPN file here. So it says your username and then OVPN. So you have to save this. And as you can see, it has been saved in my downloads. But the thing that you need to do is you need to keep it safe somewhere, all right? Because that is what we'll be using every time that we need to do a CTF. So the thing that we're going to do is we are going to first of all move it from our downloads to a secure folder. So I'm in my home folder, as you can see, PWD home Kali. So I'll create a new folder which is for CTFs. So I'll rename it, make new folder which is called CTF. And I will move my VPN key in that folder. So I can do that by typing MV and then /downloads or home Kali downloads dude OVPN, and I can move it to what is that folder, which is CTF, and press enter. And now if we go to the CTF folder, I have my key right here, all right? So the next thing that you need to do is you need to use OpenVPN to connect to their network, all right? So we can use VPN to connect to TryHackMe servers. And when we are connected to their servers, then we can begin hacking with the machines, all right? So the first thing that you need to do is now we can come to the Learn tab here. And now we can, if I come to the dashboard, I think we have joined that room or we haven't. Let's see. So we haven't. So you can come to the Learn tab here and you can come to search, and now you can type simple CTF, and we have the simple CTF here, which is a beginner level CTF. So we'll wait for it to load, and I will click on join room. So now we are inside the simple CTF. Now what we need to do is we need to connect with the VPN, all right? So the way to connect with the VPN is very simple, and you have to do this every time that you're starting the CTF, and you have to close it every time you're done with the CTF, all right? So you can come to your CTF folder, and as you can see, I have that YouTube VPN file here. So what you need to do is you need to type sudo and then open VPN, and then you have to give it that file, which was ovpn, and I can press enter and I can type Kali, and you will get all this data. So you can wait for the output when it says initializing sequence completed. And now what we need to do is we need to keep this running in the background. So there are two ways. Either you can minimize it or open a new tab, or what I like to do is I like to split my terminal horizontally, and I like to, extend it way up. So I can just see the initialization sequence completed, but nothing else. Yeah, so I can just see that and nothing else. And now I'll keep it like this. And now in my new terminal, I can start working so that I can just be sure that my VPN connection is working all right. So yeah, now what you need to do is you need to come to TryHackMe's page and you click on Start Machine. So now what we're doing is remember how we started now if you get this pop-up, you just have to cross it because we already have a VPN file to connect with the VPN network, so you can cross it. All right. Do you remember how in the previous sections we started metasploitable by putting it in a virtual machine, then starting it up like a, basically a hardware computer by clicking on start? Well, this is doing the same thing. It is virtualizing the virtual machine, the hackable machine right now, and then it is starting it up in the background. So that is why we have this 1 minute wait time period, so that the system can boot fully. And after it has booted fully, we will get an IP address, and then we can start with the hacking methodology. So now let's wait for a minute for the machine to start. In ideal cases scenario, I would suggest waiting a couple minutes even after the IP has come. So it says, also we have to remember that we have to click on the add 1 hour button if we are taking more than 1 hour in breaking a CTS, which can happen sometimes. So you just need to remind the server that you will be taking more, or it automatically kills the various web servers running after 1 hour. So we'll just wait for it to start up. And as you can see, we have the IP right here. All right. What I'll do is I'll just give it a couple more minutes to get all the services fully configured, and then we can start with the CTF. Now there are multiple questions here, and the basic format of a CTF here is you check these questions and you put the answer here, and then you click on submit. If it's right, it comes up green, and if it's wrong, it says that you have an error. And now we can move on to these questions one by one and see all that we need to do. All right. And if you remember in the previous section, in the hacking methodology section, I talked about reconnaissance, then getting inside the system, privilege escalation, exploitation, etc., etc. So we'll be following those steps also. Even if you follow every CTF, you have to follow some common steps. All right. So the first step would be to enumerate or collect data about the machines or recon. So it says that how many services are running under port 1000. So it means that we need to scan all the ports under 1000 and see what all services are running, how many services are running. So we can do that by coming to our Kali machine. Also, first we need to do if we are successfully connected to the VPN or not. One way to check that is open a new tab and go to your browser and type 10.10.10.10 and press enter. And as you can see, we have a try hack me page, and it says that our connection is successfully verified, and we have our IP address right here. So yeah, this is the IP address that this is our own IP address on the machine. And if we wanted to check my own IP address on my own local machine, I can type if config and press enter. And as you can see, we have a whole lot of output here. This is ETH0, our physical Wi-Fi connector, or basically Ethernet connector. Then there is loopback, which always stays the same. And now you can see there is ton0. So this is the VPN tunnel which we are using, and we can see our own IP here. All right. And this is the same here. So 10.8.2.0.3.1.4.6 and 10.8.2.0.3.1.4.6. All right. So now we know our own IP. Now we know the machine's IP. Let's start hacking. All right. So what I'll do is I'll just keep it on the side here, right here, and it will adjust. Perfect. Yeah. So the thing that we need to do is first we need to identify how many services are running. So to do that, I will type nmap, and then I will type -sv to show me the service versions and the service numbers. And then I can type the IP address, which is 10.10.130.130. So now this IP will be different for you, whatever your machine gives. My machine has given me 10.10.130.130. All right, very cool IP address, I must say. So now what we can do is I can just press enter, and nmap will start automatically scanning all the ports under 1000 and give me the number of services running on them. So you can now wait for nmap to run. If you ever want to see the status of a nmap command, you can press up arrow when it says starting, and it should show you status. It's not showing me right now. Yeah, so there it is. As you can see, it says, so yeah, nmap is already done. And now if we look at this, we can see that 3 services are running here. So we have port 21, we have port 80, and we have port 22222, which is open for SSH. All right. So now, if you remember in the previous sections, when we talked about common ports, I told you that 22 is used for SSH. But in this section, they are using port 222 and 2 for SSH. All right. Now, this can happen. You can define different ports for different services, but by default, SSH uses port 22. But in this section, it is using port 2222. All right. So that was all we needed. Now we can come to our first question and press 3 because we know that 3 services are running, which is FTP, HTTP, and SSH. So let's just zoom in, not in the terminal. Let's zoom in here. And now I can enter 3 and press submit. And it says our question answer is incorrect. So maybe we haven't found all the services which are running right now. So what we can now do is we can do nmap, and we can do -sv. And now what we can do is we can also give it a -a flag. So it will identify everything for us. And now we can also give it a port range. So I will give it a port range of 1 to 1000. All right. And now I can tell it the IP address, which is 10.10.130.130 and press enter. And now we'll wait for Nmap to complete. Now it will do the service SAN again, but it will also show me all the services that are running between port 1 and 1000. All right. Because that is what we needed to see. Maybe there are more services running which we haven't found right now. So we'll wait for Nmap to complete. It can take some time. By the time it is happening, we already know that there is a port 80 open which has the Apache HTTP server. So let's try visiting that. To visit that port, all you need to do is you need to copy this to your clipboard and come to your new tab and press with the IP and press enter. So we only get a Apache Ubuntu default page. So this just tells us that Apache 2 is running on the web server and nothing else. It does not. So we can come to the conclusion that nothing is hosted on the web server, website or nothing else. Nothing is hosted there. It's just a simple web server with nothing hosted on it. So there goes that. Now we also have a FTP version, all right. So we also have port 21 open, which is for FTP, and we can start enumerating that too. So let's see. Now we have the Nmap scans with us, and we can see it took us about a minute to scan, and now we can see what kind of services we are running. So host is up, and now let's see, we have port 21 open, then we have port 80 open, and it did not even show us. So yeah, we are going to ignore the SSH output because it was on the port 22222, which is more than 1000, but we are running only 2 services on the under port 1000. All right. So now we can enter 2 here and press submit. And now it says my answer is correct. So we can move on to the next section, next question. And it says what is running on the higher port. So we know that the port higher than 1000 was 22222, which was right here. And we know SSH was running on it. So I can type SSH here and I can press enter. So now it tells us what CVE you are using against the application. So now what is a CVE? Well, you can obviously Google. So we can type CVE and it tells us that CVE. So basically what CVE means, all right, let's look at here. So CVE is short for common vulnerabilities and exposure, and it is a list of publicly disclosed computer security flaws. When someone refers to a CVE, they mean a security flaw that's been assigned a CV ID number. So what do I mean by CVE is basically whenever a flaw is found in a computer program, an operating system, or a website or anything else, if when verified, it is given a CVE number, and by that number we can identify what exploit that is. So now it is asking us what CVE number are you using against the application. So we have come to the conclusion that we need to use some scanning skills and find out what CVE to use. But before we do that, we have something in our Nmap output, which says that FTP anonymous FTP login allowed. If you remember in the previous section, we used anonymous FTP login to grab files from the web server, all right. So let's try doing that again. So the syntax to login with FTP is FTP and then IP address. So 10.10.130.130 and press enter. And it says connected. And now in the name section, I can type anonymous. If I can spell anonymous, yeah. And now it asks for us and it says remote login successful and remote system is binary. And now I can type ls to see all the files. And as you can see, we have, it shows us the directory listing. Let's try typing dir and see what we can get. And it says that we have a FTP directory, I guess. So let's try seeding into that. So cd FTP, failed to change directory. Okay. Can we get anything else? ls-l, let's see. So let's try help and see what other commands I can run. So I can type dir and see all the files here. There are no files here. What can else I run? Let's see. Let's try running cd and change to that directory. And it says failed to change directory. Can we download that directory though? So we can download directories. Let's see how we can do that. So now I'm just going through the help structure of FTP. All right, I can type help again and see. Yeah. So this is more clear now. Let's see what we can do here. So there is this get of variable which I can use. So let's type get FTP and it says fail to open file. So it cannot, get the directory for us. So yeah, that was it. We don't find anything, but we come to the conclusion that FTP is running here and it says a username and password account is needed. when you type user. Can we do anything else here? Can we type open FTP? Yeah, so it won't work here. Can we do anything else? Not that. Can we change mod? Change mod 777 and do it on the FTP directory? No, we can't. Permission denied. All right. So we can't do anything with the FTP anonymous login right now, as you can see. So now I can press control. I can just press quit or buy here. So I can type quit, and it has quit from FTP. Now let's look at the Nmap results again and see what else we can find. So we can see that we tried to log in with the FTP anonymous server and we did not find anything. We have this VSFPD version and I can obviously search for that. There is also this HTTP Apache server. We can also search that. And one other thing, it tells us that there is a HTTP robots.txt file and it has two, directories disallowed. So what is a robots file? Well, let's tell you what a robots file is. Whenever you're visiting Google, Google and, searching for websites or searching for web servers, well, what if you want to host a website, but you don't want the search engine to look at some directories, all right? So if you had an administration panel in your website, you would not want people to, just type admin your website and, search for that admin panel. So we create a robots.txt file in the root of the web server, which contains all the directories that we want to keep hidden from the search engines, all right? Almost all of web servers have these files. Now, if you come to google.com, you may be able to find these. I don't know if they still keep them around. So let's type google.com, robots.txt. And as you can see, Google has all these directories which it allows or disallows. All right. So now our web server should also have the same directory and have some files in it. So let's just go to it. So we'll go 10.10.130.130. And after that, I'll go / not that. Let's just refresh it. Yeah. And after that, you can type / robots.txt and press enter. And as you can see, we have got the robots file here and it says that this basically tells the search engine to not search for it. And we have a disallowed folder here. So we know that the website does not want this folder to be visible to search engines, but now we can use this to, see what is there. So I can copy this from here and I can open a new folder and I can go to the same IP address. And now instead of / robots.txt, we can type / that folder. And now we can try visiting it. And it says it wasn't found. What could be the case? Let's try doing that again. And I can type a / here. It did not find anything. But what it tells us is that there is this open EMR thing on the web server, all right? So whatever that folder is which has been disallowed, it is something running, all right? So I can just Google about it. So I can search Google for it and see what I can find. Oh, and the first result that we get is remote code execution. Yeah, that was it. And OpenEMR has a remote code execution vulnerability by which we can run our own code on the web server, all right? So it is a Python exploit and we can run it. As you can see, there are a whole lot of payloads and everything else here. So we can try to download this exploit and try to run it. We can do that. But first I want to take a look on what it actually is, all right? And I can't seem to do that right now. Let's just try OpenEMR. Can't do anything. So maybe we are not allowed to, access that directory after all. I mean, I should be able to. I should just be able to copy this and put it here and put it here. So we have the double slashes there. Let's try to make it a single slash. Still we can't visit it. So whatever, we'll just leave it right there. And now we know that we have this open EMR file and we know it is publicly exploitable. So it also has a, it does not have a CVE number here. Let's try to find a CVE number for it. So we also have authenticated arbitrary file action. Let's try to see that. So we do have a CVE number here. So what we can do is we can try to copy the CVE numbers and paste them there and see what happens. So let's copy this one. Let's come to our TryHackMe page and paste it here. So it's not the correct CVE number. Then I can copy the next one from here. And I can paste it here. Let's see if that works. It does not. Let's try the last CVE here. Let's copy it. Let's come to try hack me. Let's paste it here. And even it does not work. So maybe this is not the CV that we are looking for. So that is how CTFs help us, have hints. So now we know that this is not the exploit that we are looking for. So we have this OpenEMR exploit with remote code execution. This is probably the one that we are going to be using. But since it does not have a CV number, we need to, find something. We either need to find its CV number or we need to do something else. So it does not have a CV number, so it's probably not this one. So now what we can do? So we know that this is not the CV number. Let's try searching what else we can find. And it says, yeah, we also have something here. Let's see what this is. So NetSparker says that OpenEMR is vulnerable to critical SQL injection, all right. And so yeah, they have given this and they have given some details and then they have also given a POC. So can we try running that? But the first thing that we need to do is we need to get to the OpenEMR login, all right. So we first need to do that. How can we get to the OpenEMR login? Because we haven't been able to get to it as of now, all right. We need to find a way to get to this folder. Let's try doing that again. No, it did not. So maybe it is hiding somewhere inside a directory. Well, when you come to these kinds of roadblocks, the next thing that you should do is try to do something else. So we can also, try to exploit the SSH port if we want to. But what I would like to do is now I would like to conduct a directory scan on the website. So to conduct a directory scan, we can use two tools. The newer one is GoBuster, and I'll be telling you how to do that. But there is also Dirbuster, which is also graphical UI based. So let's just use Dirbuster for now. So I will click on Dirbuster and wait for it to open. So yeah, this is OWASP Dirbuster, and what it does is it actually checks for all the directories on a web server. So we know that there is this OpenEMR directory which is hidden on the web server and we can't access it. But there could be also other directories that they have not put in the robots.txt file which could still exist. And the only way to check them would be manually or by doing a directory scan. So we'll do this. The thing that we need to do is we need to give it our IP address. So we'll give it http:// and then 10 130 130 and we'll give it the port 80 and that is that. And now we'll leave it as this. I can increase the number of threads so that it can go faster. So let's increase it to 30. And now it is asking for a file with a list of directories or files. Do you remember in the last sections we talked about brute forcing passwords? When we can also do the same with directories. We can, test for multiple amounts of directories until we find one. And to find directories, you can go find them in your root, and then you can come to your user here. And I guess there is a folder called Derb here. Let's see. So yeah, there is this folder called Dirbuster here. You can come here and you can come to the word list folder and there is this. So I like to use directory list 2.3 medium, but in this case, I'll be using directory list lowercase 2.3 medium. I'll select the list and it says to be standard and we will tell it not to be recursive and we'll tell it to only brute force directories as of now. And we'll start the attack and see what happens. So now we can see in the output that we have found a directory which is simple, which we did not find earlier. So we have found a simple directory. Let's try visiting that and see what's there. So let's come to this and then I can type /simple. And as you can see, we have a web server running here. It's a simple CMS web server. And you can see this is the website that is hosted on this simple folder, which we did not know about before. All right. So now we have this here and it says if you have a login, you can go to here and log in here. You can see this is the admin panel. Let's try typing our basic SQL injection attacks, see what happens. I think we did get an error. Let's try doing that again. It seems to be like, yeah, so it says username or password incorrect. Yeah. Now what we can do is, now we can research about this CMS panel. So whatever this is, now we can start researching about it. So how do I research about it? Well, there are two ways. Either you can Google, or the next way that I'm going to do is based on the terminal. So we can stop our directory search for now because we have got the files that we needed. So I can click on stop and wait for it to stop, and then I can close it down, and now it has been closed. So the next thing that we need to do is we need to do some directory. After we have done some directory searching, now we need to find what this software is and what it does. So you can come down here and you can see it says this site is powered by CMS Made Simple. So you can right click and search for CMS Made Simple and see what you can find. So CMS Made Simple is basically a content managing system. But what we can do is I can search for it in the search exploit database. So I can type search exploit. Are we running our VPN? We are running it. Perfect. So you can type search, if I can type correctly, search exploit, and then what we can type is we can type simple. So it will give us all the simple CMS. Let's see if we can find simple CMS here. Okay, so there's a whole lot of output here. The next thing that I should be typing is simple CMS. All right. So I'll come down, and instead of just writing simple, I will write simple CMS and press enter. And now we have a whole lot of output. And so yeah, CMS Made Simple. So let's try searching for that now. Simple, we know it's called CMS Made Simple. And now we have all these simple made CMS, basically vulnerabilities, and we can exploit any one of them. Now let's look at the version number which we had. So we can see that the version number is 2.2.8. So we need to look at attacks which are vulnerable to this. So let's go here. So all these attacks are attackable, you can see. But with the ones that we need to do should be closer to 2.2.8. So I can come down here and I can see this SQL injection attack which stands out to me. And it is vulnerable to just under 2.2.10. All right. So maybe I can use this and to grab a module from search exploit. The thing that you need to do is you need to type search exploit, and then you can type -m to mirror that exploit in your own directory. So before we do that, I would like to move to my CTF directory. So I'll go to CD, and then I'll go to CTF, and I'll press ls. So there is my file. And now I can create a file directory for this simple CTF. So I will type simple CTF, I'll press enter, and I'll go to simple CTF directory. And now what I can do is I can type search exploit, and instead of searching for right now, I want to have that exploit copied in my own directory, for which we can use the -m for a flag, which is used to copy that exploit to our folder. And now I need to use this from here. So I know that I'm going to be using this, so I can just copy this from here, and I can click on copy selection, and I can paste here and press enter. And it says that it has been copied to my folder. So if I do ls, I have this exploit here. And if I want, so you can see this is a Python exploit. So if I wanted to see what it is, I can type mousepad, and then I can type 46635.py. And as you can see, this is Python exploit, and it is an unauthenticated SQL injection. So remember, we learned about SQL injection. And this was made in 2019, and we also have a CV number here. So let's try pasting that. Maybe this will work. So let's come here. Let's come to our try hack me page, and let's try running the CV number here. Submit. And voila, we have a correct CV. So now we know that we are using the correct CV. We can use this exploit to attack the server. And it is also asking what kind of vulnerabilities the application vulnerable to. If you look at basically the exploit, you can already see that it has been given that this is an SQL injection vulnerability. We read about it. Yeah, so this is a SQL injection. Now we come to the try hack me page, and it says what kind of vulnerability. So we cannot just type SQL injection the whole here, because you can see it only requires 4 characters. So you can just type SQL and then I, and then press submit, and it should work. Yeah, so it accepted that. Now it is asking us what is the password. So now we need to grab some passwords, all right? So how can we do that? Well, we can use this exploit, obviously. So the thing that we'll do is, now I'll just close it from here, and we can run this exploit. So I'll clear it. And now what we'll do is we'll make it a executable. So we'll do change mod +x. And now I'll use the exploit here, 46635.py, and press enter. So it is now an executable. In fact, let's rename it to something else understandable. So from 46635, we will name it simple SQLi.py. Yeah. So now if we ls here, we have simple sqli.py, and now we can run it by typing Python. Let's see what Python version we are running. So it says we are running Python 2.7.18, which is perfect because this exploit is also written in Python 2. How can we identify that this was written in Python 2? Well, if you open it, you can see the first line here, which says user bin env Python. So if it were to say Python 3 here, then it would be a Python 3 exploit. But since it says Python here, then it's a Python 2 exploit. So I won't save it anything. I'll just use it. And now what I can do is I can type Python, and then I can run that exploit, simple SQLi, and press enter. And it says no module named request. So the thing I need to do is I need to install this module named request. So we can do this by typing pip install requests. So pip is used for installing modules. So I can do this, and now let it work. So now it says it successfully installed it. Now let's try running that exploit again. And now it says no import module name term color. So now let's do that pip command again, but instead of request this time, I'll use term color. And now I can press enter. And it says that it could not find term color or something else. Hey everyone, welcome back. So by some searching on Stack Overflow, I figured it out that maybe we need to install this module which is named setup tools. So let's install that. And now we have installed setup tools. Now if we may be able to use term color. And yeah, we have installed term color, and now we can run our exploit finally. So after all that tech problems aside, these can happen sometimes when you're using exploits. So yeah, we can do is we can try to run that exploit. So I can type Python, and I can type that simple sqli.py and press enter. And as you can see, it tells us to specify a URL, and it also tells us to, gives us some usage. So let's type Python, simple SQLi, and now it needs a URL target. So we can type -u to provide a URL, which is this URL right here. So we can provide it right here, copy paste it there. And then we can also tell it to crack with the word list. So we can tell it to -- crack and with the word list, and our word list is user here, word list rocky.txt. So what it is going to do is it is going to perform an SQL injection attack for us. Then what it's going to do is it's going to grab the usernames and passwords, and then it will crack those password hashes with Rock. So now we can press enter and wait for it to work. So now as you can see, it's going through different tries. And now what it will do is it will start going through all the tries. And as you can see, it is slowly gathering the data for us. And now what we have to do is we just have to wait for the exploit to run. And so I'll just pause the video here. Now what you need to do is you need to just wait for the exploit to run, and after that it will give us the username and password, all right? So now I can let it run here, and I will resume when it's about to end. So as you can see, it says the salt was found for a password. So as you can see, a salt was found. And now what it's trying to do is it's trying to try for username, all right? So we found the password salt, and now we are trying for the username. So let's see what happens. So we know the username has been found, which is Mitch. And now what it's going to do is it's going to try to grab the password hash of it. All right. So now I'll let it do its thing. And what it's going to do is I think it's going to grab the password hash for us. So we have the salt and we have the password hash, and then we can crack Mitch's password. All right. So the user which has made the SQL table inside this web server, now we can get their username and password. All right. So maybe this is the email that we are getting. Yes, this is the email that we are getting right now. So it will end with admin. And now I guess it will start with @ or something. Let's see. So yeah, it says admin @ and now it will give us email or something. And I guess it will be admin@admin.com. Let's see. Yeah, so it seems like it will be admin@admin.com. So what we will do is we will let the SQL attack run, and then we can get the username and password. Can there be any answers that can be solved? So no, it's just asking for the password, but it says where can you log in with the details obtained. So we can't know as of now yet, but we know with the two ports open, FTP and SSH, that we can use those two to log in inside the web server. We can see we have 23 minutes left. You can add the time if you want. I'll just add it for safety purposes. And now let's see, the email is almost cracked. So let's wait for it to crack. And it should be .com. Let's see. And that should be an O. And the next one should be and M. So let's just give it a little bit of more time. So we have the email, and now it will check for the last character and it will check if it's empty or not. So it is empty. And now what we're going to do is we are going to find the password hash. All right. So I'll let this run and I'll resume when it has completed. So it seems like that the attack is almost done, and I think it's grabbing the MD5 hash of the password of Mitch, the user. So I don't think more is left, maybe just a couple of characters. And then what it will do is it will try to crack the hash with the word list that we provided, which was rockyou.txt. So let's just wait a couple more moments. It should end right about now. And the next thing that it will do is now it will try to crack the password for us. And it has already cracked the password. The password is secret. So now we have the username Mitch and we have the password secret. So now we can use it to log in. All right. So it is asking for us what is the password. We can type it here that the password is secret. And we can press submit. And now it says where can you log in. So we can log in with SSH because SSH is the service that allows us to log in into web servers. So I can type SSH and we have the username which is Mitch and we can do @ and the IP address is 10.10.130.130. And now I can press enter. And now we'll wait for the SSH client to come and respond back to us. Let's hope we can log in with the username Mitch and the IP address 10.10.130.130. Oh yeah, we can't log in right now. The reason we are not getting an output is if you remember, SSH was running on the port 22222. The default port that SSH uses is port 22, so that is why we are not 22. So that is why we are not getting an output because it's trying to connect at port 22. But the port that we need to specify is port 2222. So we can do that by first checking SSH help, and we can see we can do user@ port number. So we can just do that, or we can provide a dash port number. So let's try you doing the first option, and then I can provide 2222 and press enter. It could not resolve it because there's an IP address. So what I can do is I can do -p and then I can provide it the port 2222 because we remember SSH is running on that service. And now the SSH pop-up has come and you should type yes and press enter. And now it is asking for Mitch's password, which we know is secret. So let me type secret here. And now we are inside the server. So now we have gotten access to the server by cracking Mitch's password, which we got from an SQL injection vulnerability, which we got through a hidden directory, which we got through directory brute forcing. So you can see how we are connecting all the, all the things that we learned earlier together. And we found all that by doing an nmap scan. We knew that SSH is running on port 2222 because of that nmap scan, all right? So now I can do who am I? And as you can see, I am Mitch. So the next thing that I should do is I can do bash to get a bash prompt. And yeah, this is a bash prompt. Let's type clear. So yeah, now we have a clear terminal. So now it says where can you log in with the details obtained. So we already logged in with SSH. So I can type SSH and press submit. Now it is asking for the user flag. So whenever you're doing CTFs, as soon as you get login with SSH, you can do ls and see there is a user.txt. So that user.txt represents the user's flag. So I can type cat user.txt and press enter, and we have got the flag right here. So we can copy it from here and I can come it here and paste it here and submit. As you can see, we have pasted it. Now it says, is there any other user in the home directory? What is its name? So now we can do ls and we are here, and now I can do pwd. So I'm in the home Mitch directory. Let's do cd ... and now do an ls, and you can see there is another user whose name is sunbath. So we can tell it that the user's name is sunbath, and I can press enter. Now it is asking, what can you leverage to spawn a privileged shell? So as of now, if I try to go into sunbath, and it says permission is denied, because if you look at the permissions by typing ls-l, we can see that sunbath is owned by root. Basically, we cannot, just go into it and, change things. We need to be root at least, or, be at least sunbath to go inside it. So now we can't do root things. So now what we need to do is we need to do privilege escalation and gain root privileges. The first step in a CTF to gain root privilege escalation is to type sudo -l. So what it tells us is that what commands can we run as root, and it tells us that we can run user bin vim as root. All right. So what is user bin vim? Let's try running that. So the user bin Vim. If you have never heard of Vim before, Vim is a text editor. All right. So you can see Vim is a text editor. And the way to quit Vim is by typing shift : and then pressing Q to, exit out of it. So remember that to exit, you can type Q to exit out of Vim. So now how can we use Vim to spawn a root shell for us? Because if we do who am I now? I am Mitch, all right. And if I do UID, I am in the Mitch group. I mean ID. So we are in the groups Mitch and we need to be in the group root. So how can we do that? To do that, we need to log in as root, and we cannot log in as root because we don't have the root password. But even as a Mitch user, even as a lower privileged user, I can use Vim to, run root commands. So how can I use Vim to gain root privileges? So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to run Vim as a Mitch user, but it can provide me with root privileges. So I will use Vim to get root privileges and then read that file, all right? So now let's see if we can open files in Vim. So how to open files in Vim? Open files in Vim. So let's see, how can you open a file within Vim? We can read about it right here. And it says to use -R. So it says to use -E and then the file name. So let's try doing that. Let's run sudo Vim, sudo because we want to run it with root privileges. And now we are here. And now we can type : and then you can type E. And the file that we need to grab is inside the root folder. So you can type root/root.txt and press enter. And as you can see, we have got our flag here which says well done, you made it. In order to find it, we opened the file with root privileges. We did not. Let's exit out of Vim first of all. Yeah, we'll do !Q. So now that we have exit out of Vim, I'll do Q ! And press enter. So now we have quit out of Vim. So we can do that again by typing sudo Vim, and we can also give it the same file. So root, and we can type root.txt and press enter. And it says that well done, you made it. So we can open this file using Vim. So I can copy the selection. I can come here and I can paste it here. And it says the answer is correct. And we used Vim to grab the privilege shell. So I can type Vim here. So why did we use Vim? So first of all, congratulations on completing your first CTF. Now, why did we use Vim here? Because Vim can run root privileges, run with root privileges, and thus it can access root systems. So if I quit out of Vim by typing : Q and ! All right. So now if I wanted to just cat that file, all right. So I can type cat root.txt. Let's see what happens. Permission denied. What if I wanted to open it in nano and type root and then root.txt? Denied. So we can't even open that file because it says path root is not accessible. So we come to the conclusion that we could not have been able to see the files inside the root folder. And by the way, how did I know it was in the root folder? So basically, whenever you're doing the CTF, normal flag, the user flag is always kept inside the home user directory, and the root flag is mostly kept inside the root folder. So you can go to /root and then you can look at the root.txt file to see the root flag. All right, this is the basis of almost every CTF. So that was it for this CTF. In the next section, we'll be tackling another CTF and we'll be looking at how to complete it. So now when you're done with this CTF, you can click on terminate and enjoy. And as you can see, connection was closed. So yeah, this was it for simple CTF. See you in the next section. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Ethical Hacking Hands-On course. So this is the last session of this course. This is the last CTF that we are tackling, and after that we'll be done with this. But to practice your skills and to hone your skills, you should keep practicing on Try Hack Me and then move on to Hack the Box and start practicing there. So yeah, the CTF that we're going to be tackling in this section is the RootMe CTF. So you can come to the Learn tab here and then click on Search. And then what you have to search for is RootMe. So you can see this this CTF here, RootMe. So this is a CTF for beginners, and can we root it? So yeah, we'll try doing that. So the first thing that we need to do is you need to click on join room so that you can join the room. Not allow notifications. Yeah, inside the room we are. So now it says to connect with OpenVPN. We already know how to do it. So we can start the machine and we can click on, we can cross this out. And the first task is to deploy the machine. So we can click on complete it. So yeah, we've already deployed the machine. Now we'll wait for the IP address to show up. So now it's asking us to do some reconnaissance. So reconnaissance is basically gathering information about the target. So it's asking for a scan the machine and tell us how many ports are open. You can also see there is a hint here. So it is telling us that you use one nmap to do the port scan. So yes, we'll be doing that. And we have a single star here to identify that it's only a single digit. So maybe under 10 ports are running here. So I'll just clear it out. And doing now this time, we'll also be making notes, all right? Because in a good CTF, as a good security researcher, you should know how to make and maintain your notes. So we'll just wait for the IP address to show up. And then we can start, cracking with the CTF. Yeah, I've gotten the IP address right now. So I'll just copy it and I'll come to my tab here and I can type nmap-sc-sv to scan out for all versions. You can read about what these flags do by going to nmap and then typing --help. You can see I am using the SC flag. So let me just tell you what the SC flag does. So we can see if we scroll up. Do we have the SC flag here right now? We do not. So basically, we are using the nmap SC flag. You can Google it by typing nmap-sc. We did not get anything. Yeah, so let's just not use that if you don't know what it does. Yeah, we can also use ZenMap also. So let's try doing ZenMap right now, all right? We have already done Nmap, so let's try doing ZenMap this time. Let's open ZenMap and do the same thing. So yeah, we have ZenMap here and we like to do, let's see. Let's do a regular scan. No, let's do a intent scan. Yeah, that should do it. Or we can do a quick scan plus or just a quick scan. Let's see. Yeah, we'll do a quick scan plus. And now I'll give it the target, which is 10.187.56. And we can click on scan. Oh, it says that we need root privileges. So let me just start it again with root privileges. So I'll type sudo ZenMap and press enter and give it the password. And now we have ZenMap with root privileges. So the same thing, quick scan plus, and the target is 10.187.56. Remember, this will be different for you, and also make sure that you're connected to the VPN. I did it in the last section, so I'm not showing how to do it right now. But in this section, I'll show you how to cancel that VPN and exit out of it. Basically, what you have to do is you just have to come to that tab in which the VPN is running and press Ctrl+C to quit out of it. But yeah, so now we'll wait for these Nmap results to come up. By the time they come up, let's try opening the IP address and see if we can find anything. So I've copied it here. Let's paste it here and see what we can find. And we can visit that file. And hey, it's a RootMe. So it's a basic good animated website which says, can you root me? So now we can also try the basic thing which we did last time to check robots.txt. See if we can find anything there. And we do not, but we do identify the Apache version, which is 2429. And I guess that is the one question. So it says what version of Apache is running, and we can identify it by searching here. We can see 2.4.29, or we can come here to our Nmap result and we can see that it shows Apache 2.4.2.9 is running. So we can type it here, 2.4.29, and press submit. And now it says what service is running on port 22. So we can see port 22 is running SSH as usual. SSH is supposed to run on port 22. So I can tell it SSH is running on port 22. And it is asking for us how many ports are open. So we can see 2 ports are open. If we come to the services, you see 2 things here. So we can come to the conclusion that 2 ports are open. So I can type 2 here and press submit. And now it is telling us to find directories on the web server using GoBuster tool. So we already used Dirbuster in the last section. Now I'll be using GoBuster. So GoBuster is nothing but a directory brute forcing tool, just like Dirbuster, but it is based on Go language instead of Java because it is a newer and faster language. So let's try using GoBuster as the CTF is asking for us. So we'll do GoBuster, and you can ignore that output which you're getting, and I can type --help to see all the help. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to use the directory file enumeration mode. So I'll just tell it to use GoBuster, and then I can type dir to use the directory mode. And then we need to provide it with a URL. So we can provide it with a URL by typing -u, and then we can give it the IP address, which was 10.10.187.56. Not like that, .56. And now we have given it the URL. And then the next thing that we need to do is we need to tell it to use the word list. So I'll tell it to use the word list by giving it -w. And remember, we are not using raw queue here because we are looking for directories on a web server, for which the word list that you're going to be using is user here buster word list directory and list 2.3 medium. Let's try using the lowercase one, lowercase 2.3 medium.txt, and I can press enter. And now GoBuster is scanning for all the directories, and as you can see, it's going through them. So now you can see we have already found one directory, which is uploads. So let's try visiting that and see what's there. So I can type the IP and then I can visit uploads. So as you can see, it is an upload portal where we can see all the uploaded files, but where can we upload them from? There is another folder called /css. So let's try visiting that. It should contain CSS static files. Yeah, it has this home CSS. So we haven't found this home panel yet, and also this panel CSS. So I wonder what these files are. And we have also found another folder, which is the JS folder. So it contains only JavaScript. So yeah, this is the JavaScript that is running on the server. Can't really do much with that. So now let's wait for GoBuster to come up with anything interesting. But I did find something interesting. CSS folder. So if we come to the CSS folder, it has two files here, home and panel. So it's the cascading style files for the home panel and the panel page. So is there a home which exists, but the directory search hasn't given us right now? Let's try typing home. There is nothing. Is there a panel? Let's try running panel. Press enter. And voila, we have an upload panel here. Obviously, we have it before the GoBuster could find it. But now, how did we find it? We find it by searching through the CSS file and selecting its name and finding it here. All right. So now we have an upload panel here, and we know what we do with upload panels. All right. We use reverse shells to connect back to them. So I will let GoBuster run here, and I will just, and as you can see, GoBuster has just found panel here also. So yeah, this was it. The same thing. We have panel here, and we also have panel here. All right. So now we know that we have a panel folder and we have an upload folder. So we know where the uploaded files will go after we upload them here. So let's try the example. So let's go to upload and we'll upload the same Vin Diesel meme, and I can press on upload. And it says something in green and it says successor. So I believe that the file has been uploaded. And we can click on this link and go to the new panel. And as you can see in the uploads folder, we have the image file here. So let's try looking at that. So we have in uploads and then we have the file here. So we can look at the, again, the Vin Diesel meme, password strong family meme, all right. And now we can quit out of GoBuster by typing Control-C. I guess that is enough directory scanning because now we know what to do with it. If you want to keep it running, yeah, let's keep it running. So I'll just right click it and I'll say split horizontally. And now I'll also split it right up there. All right. So we'll keep it running and we can see if anything new comes up. Now the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to exploit this upload panel by uploading a PHP reverse shell. So we know how to grab the PHP reverse shell. So you know PHP reverse shell pentest monkey. And we can come to their GitHub. And let's go to the CTF folder which I've created. So it is in CTF RootMe. And now I can grab this reverse shell. So I can click on this. And then I can go to file. I mean this. And then I can click on raw. And then I can copy the link. And then I can paste it here. Not without the wget. So wget and then the link. And press enter. And now we have the reverse shell with us here. So if we nano into the, let's not nano, let's use mousepad and PHP reverse shell. So this is a reverse shell here. Now what we need to do is we need to put our IP and pub port here as usual. So for our IP, let's open a new tab quickly and let's type ifconfig. But this time we are not using the ETH0, we are using the TUN0. So let's type TUN0, or it could be anything else your N0 system. So you can just type ifconfig and see the tunnel one, not the LO or the ETH or the WLP, the tunnel one. The tunnel one is this IP. So this is my IP on the VPN network of TryHackMe. So I'll copy it from here. I can come here in the pentest monkey, reverse shell, and I can paste it here. Now it is asking for a port. So let's use the port 9001. And now we can save this file by pressing Ctrl+S and exiting out of it. Yeah, that was it. Now we have the IP address. Now we also have our PHP reverse shell ready. Let's try uploading it. So let's click on browse and let's go to my home folder. And then I have the CTF folder and then the RootMe and then the PHP reverse shell. Let's try uploading it. and we get an error. It says that PHP is not permitted or something. I'm just making sense. I don't know what language this is, but I can come to the conclusion that the file was not uploaded by the red box, or we can go to this directory and see that we still do not have our PHP file uploaded. So what can we do now? Let's try doing something else. PHP files can also have extensions like PHP1, PHP2, PHP3. So let's copy this file. So PHP reverse shell to a PHP reverse shell. So we'll just name it PHP. We can name it rev PHP. And now I can give it a PHP2 extension. So it would execute just like a normal PHP file with the same extension. So let's see if we can, make use of that. Now I can go to browse, and now you can click on PHP2, and now I can click on upload, and it says voila, the file was uploaded. Now you may say PHP2 files won't work, but let's see. So we have the rev2 PHP file here, and as you can see, this gives us an error, but we can come back and try to use it again. All right. So now let's open our netcat listener. So netcat lvnp, and now we have the port 9001, and wait for it. And now let's try to run the PHP exploit, and we do not get anything. Where could we have gone wrong? Maybe because of the extension that it is causing this problem. So let's try doing something else. Let's try, instead of PHP2, let's try PHP with a small p and a capital H. All right. So we can copy this file again, PHP reverse shell, but now instead of, I'll name it ref PHP, and instead of .php2, I'll name it p capital H p. Let's see if that works. So we can come here. I can come on browse. I can come on ref PHP2. Not that. Ref PHP with the capital PHP, and press upload, and it says not. So it's basically checking for the extension PHP. So I can rename it. So let's try it. Upload that ref PHP2 again, and press upload. And now let's start our listener, which was ncat lvnp 9001, and let's try to click on this link. It executes that file, and it says, so it's giving us an error. So basically it's not executing our PHP reverse shell. Well, what can we do now? If we come to the uploads folder, we have the same file here, but not being executed. Let's try uploading the original file. Maybe we caused some changes in the file. So I can type nano, or maybe mousepad PHP reverse shell, and we have our IP address correct here, I believe. So let's try that. We can close Nmap for now because our work is done with Nmap. Yep, we can close it anyway, and we can open a new tab, and I can type if config, and we have 10.8.203.146. So the IP address is correct, the port is correct. So what could be causing the issues? Maybe the server is not able to execute this file. Well, what can we do? Let's try uploading the raw file like this. Let's see what happens then. Obviously the panel expired, so I'll just come back and reload it. And now I can, let's see what happens then. Obviously the panel expired, so I'll just come back and reload it. And now I can click on browse, and I can open the original file, but it will obviously not let us upload it. So what else can we do? Well, now we need to bypass this upload filter. All right. So if you remember, we also had a folder which was called JS. Maybe that is what contains this upload, this upload script, which is measuring. So we can come to this IP address 10.10.187. So let's go to 10.10.187.56, and then there was this JS folder, and in this JS folder there was this file. So yeah, it's doing something, but we can't understand really. So let's leave it here. So now we need to bypass this upload filter. Okay, so basically we need to upload a PHP file and execute it. So let's try doing that. Let's do bypass PHP upload filter. Let's see what we can find. So we have this OSCP guide, and we have this exploit DB guide. So let's open this book.hacktricks.xyz. I love this website because this provides us with quick, things that we can use. So it says that we can use extensions like PHP, PHP2, PHP3, PHP7. Now let's try running the same file, but instead of the original file name, I'll just I'll just save it as, and I'll name it PHP3, and I'll save it, and let's see what happens, because this is what it is asking us to do. All right. So it is telling us that PHP3 will work, and so will be till PHP7. So let's try working that. Let's see if that works. We can come to our folder. We can click on browse. We can click on PHP3 and we can click on upload. And it says it has been uploaded. Now we can start our listener and cat and let's try to execute it. And it's still giving us this output. So this is probably not the output that we are supposed to get. Now let's try to find a better reverse shell. So let's open a new tab and I can type PHP reverse shell. And we have the pen test monkey reverse shells. Let's come here. And this is also reverse shell. Maybe we can use this. But if we want to upload the file, so we can use this PHP reverse shell and we can download it. But it's the same one as before, so I don't know how it will work, but let's try one running it. So I can download this talgz, right click, copy link location, and then we can run here and we can wget the file. And now the talgz is done. So now we can extract it with the tar and then xvf, I think. This is what we use. I'm not sure. Yeah. So we have the folder here. So we can go into PHP reverse shell. And we have the PHP reverse shell.php file. So I can mousepad that thing. And I can add our IP here. Let's try running this one. Maybe this will work for us. So my IP is 10.8.203.146. Let's see. 10.8.203.146. 10.8.203.146. 6. So 10.8.203.146. 10.8.203.146. And let's change the port to, let's leave it to 1234. Let's see what happens. So I'll just save this file and I'll quit out of it. And now I'll create a copy of it and I'll name it. Oh, we're not in the root folder. Let's come here. And now I'll make a copy of it and I will call it phprev.php2 and press enter. And now we have that file created. Now let's try uploading it. So I can come back here. I can click on refresh. And we have that ref php2 file. Now let's try phprev. And I can click on browse. And then I can go to this folder. And then I can try phprev.php2. And I can click on upload. And it says uploaded. And now let's start our listener at lvnp 1234. Press enter. And let's try uploading, seeing that file. And it's still giving us that same error. So give me a moment. Let's figure it out what this error is and how to fix it. Maybe we are getting this error because that PHP file does not have the proper permissions. All right. So let's try giving it the proper permissions by giving it chmod plus x. And then I can give it php-shell.php. Yep. And then I can move it to rename it PHP reverse shell to let's name it final rev.php2 because we know php2 will upload. So now we have done that. Now let's check it one last time. So mousepad final ref php2 and let's look at the IP. So we have our IP here 10.8.203.146. Let's do if config 10.8.203.146 and we have the port 1234. Right. So now I can close it out and I can open my netcat listener at 1234 and we can try uploading it. So we can click on this page, we can click resend and now we can click on the browse button and final ref.php2 and we can upload it. And as you can see, we have the final ref.php2 file. Let's see what happens. We still get the same error. So it's probably because the server is having some issues running our PHP reverse shell or something else is wrong. So to fix it, it could be because we are still running that directory brute force. So let's try to cancel that. And let's exit out of here. And let's fix my terminal. Let's try running it again. And it has given us the same output. So we might need to restart the server and see. Sometimes the servers can get borked like this and they can cause problems. So now we can put here that the hidden directories panel first of all. And we can also complete this task. And then we can say that our reconnaissance task is completed. And then we can get to getting a shell. So it is asking us to grab the user.txt and the hint it says the file upload bypass with a PHP reverse shell. So we already tried to do it, but our PHP reverse shell is having some errors running right now. In fact, none of them are running. All of them are having the same errors, all right? Yeah. So let's try to grab another PHP reverse shell which can actually work for us, and I'll see you in a bit. Hey everyone, I'm back. So after a lot of research and some trial and error, I have come to the conclusion that this server won't run any PHP files which are not named either PHP 5 or PHTML. So I believe that the 5 version, it tells the server that it's running the PHP 5 version or something else. But we can try another file name. Since it's not accepting PHP files, we can also try to run PHTML. All right. So we can do that, because if we come here in the file upload trickbook, we can also see the PHTML file here. So we can try using that. So let's come here and let's have take a look at our reverse shell. So that is the PHP reverse shell. Let's take a look at it. So I'll just open it with nano. And as you can see, our IP is here 10.8.2.0.146 and the port number is 1234. Now I'll exit it. And now what I'll do is I'll just first I'll remove the old one. So PHP reverse shell 2. And now what I'll do is I'll create a copy of it. So PHP reverse shell, and we'll name it final rev. But this time, instead of naming it PHP 1, 2, 3 or 4 or 5, now I know 5 works, or you can also use PHTML. All right. And now I can press enter. So now if we do ls, we have that PHTML file here. All right. So now I can try uploading that and see what happens. And you can see it is uploaded successfully. And now let's try opening it and see what happens. So we have a blank page. Now let's try listening. So lvnp 4000, and let's try rerunning it again. And voila, we have our shell here. So now we have our shell here. Now we are inside the system. And so now let's see what we can do. So let's do who am I? And as you can see, we are www data. So first thing that we need to do is we need to start bash, and we can type bash. And let's try who am I again, and its bash is not running correctly. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to turn our terminal interactive, because now we are not interactive. So we can type python -c. Let's first check if Python is installed. So where is Python? And we do have Python installed. So we can type python -c import pty dot, was the syntax? I'm not forgetting a little bit. Let's just see. pty.spawn, and then we could open our bracket, and it was I'm forgetting the syntax. No worries, we can just look at it. So we can type python stabilize shell stabilize, and we can come to this blog. I love it. Sometimes I forget the syntax, so I come here because I can't remember it. So I can go down and down and down, and let's see. Yeah, this is the syntax that I was looking for. By this, we can get an interactive shell, because the shell that we are using right now is a dumb shell. So whenever you get access to a file system with a reverse shell, always do this. So you can type python -c, and then we can type import pty, and then we can end that command, and then we can type pty.spawn, and then we can tell it to spawn bin bash. So bin bash, end it right there, and then give it the last semicolon. Yeah, now we are in bash. Now term environment clear still won't work, but now we have something. So now we are in the root folder. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to type who am I. So I am www data. So I cannot get to most root folders, but what I can do is I can go inside the home folder. So let's go to cd home, and I can type ls here. As you can see, there are 2 folders, rootme and test. So let's do ls-l to see details. And as you can see, both of these are directories. So let's try visiting test first. So we'll do cd test, and we can do ls, and there are no files here. If we do ls-l, yeah, total 0 files here. So we can go back by cd dot, and then we can do ls. And now we can come to our try hack me page and getting a shell. So we did get a shell, and now we need to find the user.txt flag. So we can find it in the rootme folder, I guess. So we can type cd rootme, and then I can press ls, and there is nothing here. Interesting. ls-l, and it says total 0. So we need to switch ourselves from www data to some other user. Or maybe it's not there, maybe it's somewhere else. Remember, we started in www data, so let's do cd home, and let's see where we are. So we are in var www, and now let's try ls. Oh yeah, so there it is our flag. So we can do cat user.txt, and we have got our first flag. So I can copy it, and I can paste it here, and I can press submit. Voila. So now we have got our shell. Now the last step is to privilege escalation. So now we need to increase our privileges. it's talking about SUID permissions and it's asking us which file is weird. All right. So let's look at the hint. So it is telling us to run this command. So let's try running this command. Now, if you want to learn about what SUID permissions are, you can come here and you can go to SUID permissions CTF tricks. So you should get the Linux privilege escalation. And in this section, it talks about SUID groups and what they are. So if we try to do sudo -l, it won't give us anything right now because we did it last time. And as you can see, it is asking for a password, which we don't have. So let's exit out of that. Let's do that again. And let's type wrong password again. So yeah, now we are back in the bash and you can see we are still www data. So now what you can do is if we come here and we search for SUID, so sudo and SUID. So what it does is it tells us that you could be allowed to execute some commands using sudo or they could have the SUID bit. Check if it's using. So what is a SUID bit? Well, it's just a bit that allows us to run a program with root permissions without actually providing it a password, all right? So we can do this by typing sudo -i. So sudo -i. And now it's asking for a password from us, so we can't obviously do that. So let's enter a wrong password 3 times again. Don't press Ctrl+C or it will cancel your connection, all right? Just enter a wrong password again and again. And yeah, now we are back here. So the command that it is asking us to run is find with this, and this was the same command that was given us to in the hint, all right? So let's copy this and let's see what it does. So I can paste it here. So first of all, it's doing find and then it's doing in the root directory and it's looking for the files who is owned by the user root and which have the permission 4000. So this permission 4000 will let anyone, allow to, execute these files even when they are owned by root. So now if you want to learn into more detail, you can always go online and search about SUID bits, but now we'll run this command and see what we get. So we are getting, in most things, we are getting a permission denied, but in some things we are getting, so now you can see we are not getting that permission denied error. And now we can see a whole lot of things are coming up and I can see Python here. So Python can help us out in this case. So now let's use Python because I know all of these are normal Linux programs which have their SUID bit set, but this Python program, okay, it's gone. Let's press Ctrl+C to cancel it right now. And now our SSH connection obviously dropped. So I will open the netcat listener again, and then I will reload this page. And now we have our reverse shell. And now I can do the same thing, Python-C. And I think I have forgotten the syntax already. So let's just go up and copy that syntax. Let's see if I can find it in this whole garbage of mess. Yep, it should be right here. So yeah, this was it. Python-C import pty.spawn. So let's try doing that. So Python-C import pty and then pty.spawn. And then we can open a bracket and it was bin /bash and we can end the double quotes here. And we also need to provide the single quotes, which we forgot. So instead of typing it, all again, I'll just go up quickly. And it should be right here. So it's right here. I'll just copy it and I'll come down again and I'll just paste it. Now press enter. And now, so we have bash and we already ran that find perm command. So the thing that we need to pay attention to, as you can see, all of these are permission denied things. So we don't need to worry about that. But we can take a look at Python. So we can see we can run Python with root permissions, all right? So now how can we exploit it? Well, there is one way that you can do manually, or there is another thing that you can do. So if you come to this Linux privilege escalation guide, it contains a whole lot of things for us, all right? And the next thing that we need to do is we need to go to GTFO bins. So search for GTFO bins. So what GTFO bins allows us is it has some one-liners which can allow us to, you use these for privilege escalation. So we have come here and the thing that we're searching for is Python. So let's search for Python and we have Python. And we have all the functions in the Python here. So you can see this, we use this command to break out of a restrictive environment to have our, small, interactive shell. And these are file upload, file download. But remember, we had the, if we come here, it is asking for a SUID permission. So let's just tell it what file, which has the weird file permission. So it's user bin and it's Python. Press enter, and as you can see, now it is saying to find a form to escalate your privileges, and if you look at the hint, it says search for GTF for bins. So that is what we did. We came at GTF for bins, we came to Python, and we are looking at the SUID section. So it is saying that we need to run these commands. We don't need to run the first command because you see it says that this example creates a local SUID binary to maintain privileges. To interact with SUID binary, skip the first command. So we already know that we have Python installed. The only thing that we need to do is we need to run it. So now what we can do is I can copy this command, and now we can come down all the way. Yep. And we can paste it here. And now the error is basically that if we can't just paste it like this. So I'll just open a notepad and fix the command. All we can do, we can go to cd user/bin. And now we know that we have Python here. So now that what we can do is we can run this command directly from here. So I'll just copy it here because Python is installed here, and I can press Ctrl+Shift+V and press enter. And as you can see, it executed perfectly. And now we have a hash symbol. A hash symbol tells us that we are the root, and the dollar symbol tells us that we are the normal user. So now if I do who am I, you can see I'm root. So the only thing that I need to do is grab the root flag, which is in the root directory. So I can type cat. In fact, let's do it one by one. So let's go to cd/home. And now if I do pwd, I'm in home, and I can do an ls. And these are the files, and I can go to the root directory, and I can do an ls, and we have the root.txt file here, so we can cat that file, root.txt, and yeah, there is the flag. Congratulations, you just completed the final CTF. So that was it for this ethical hacking hands-on course. This marks the end of it. Right? Thank you for being a part of this long journey, and I hope you get all the hacking knowledge you need, and I hope you achieve great dreams. So if you need any help, you can always reach out to me at brownboy.tech at my website. So it's brownboy.tech. You can always reach out to me here on these are my socials. You can always reach out to me here. Thank you for being a part of this course. See you in the next section. Now, just one last thing before we end. So the first thing that you need to do is you need to terminate it after the CTF is over. So we have terminated. So now the machine has been shut down, and now we can exit from here, and I can also exit from here, and I can also exit from here. So now you can see this is our OpenVPN session, which is still running. So to cancel it, you just have to press Ctrl+C, and it will end it. It says SIG hard received, process exiting. So now it has closed the interface, and now the VPN is disconnected. So if I try to do ifconfig now, we won't get any ton0 output. As you can see, ton0 is gone because we have closed our VPN. So now when you want to resume normal usage, you can use your laptop for your normal usage. So you can type exit. And yes, that was it. Thank you for being a part of this course.
सो वेलकम बैक हैकर्स। तो कैसे आप लोग, आई होप बड़े हो कि बड़े ना। आज का सेशन भी काफ़ी इंटरेस्टिंग होगा क्योंकि आज के इस सेशन के अंदर, इस पार्ट के अंदर अपन डिस्कस करने वाले प्रोजेक्ट्स दैट गेट यू हायर, कि कौन से ऐसे प्रोजेक्ट्स हैं जिनके थ्रू आप अपने साइबर सिक्योरिटी की जर्नी में अपने करियर को और आगे ले जा सकते हो और अपने रिज्यूमे को और अपने पोर्टफोलियो को और भी ज़्यादा बेटर और भी ज़्यादा इंप्रूवमेंट कर सकते हो। सो बात करने वाले प्रोजेक्ट्स के बारे में। सो प्रोजेक्ट्स आर द वन ऑफ द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग्स इन द योर एप्लीकेशन। बोले तो यहाँ पर योर रिज्यूमे। वन गुड प्रोजेक्ट्स बीट्स 5 सर्टिफिकेट। build these and you will be have proof that you can actually do work। सो कहने का सिंपल सा मीनिंग है कि अगर एक प्रोजेक्ट अगर आपने बहुत बढ़िया बना दिया जो आपके 5 सर्टिफिकेशन को बीट कर सकते हैं, वहाँ पे जहाँ पे आपको 5 सर्टिफिकेशन की रिक्वायरमेंट है, वहाँ पे आपके वन ऑफ द बेस्ट प्रोजेक्ट आपके उन 5 सर्टिफिकेशन को बीट करके आपका स्किल सेट, आपका शोकेस दिखाएगा कि आपने क्या चीज़ बनाई है, क्या आपने यहाँ पे एक्चुअली किया है और क्या वो काम करने वाला है। तो वो चीज़ आपको शोकेस करेगा आपके स्किल सेट के अंदर, आपके प्रोजेक्ट्स के अंदर, आपके वर्क फ्लो के अंदर, आपके एक्सपीरियंस के अंदर। सो प्रोजेक्ट सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग बन जाती है। कितना जितना ज़्यादा बेटर प्रोजेक्ट है उतना ही ज़्यादा आपका स्किल सेट वहाँ पे शो होने लगता है। सो बात करते हैं रूल्स ऑफ ए ग्रोथ प्रोजेक्ट। अब देखो एक प्रोजेक्ट कैसे बनाएंगे और एक कैसा सिनेरियो ले कि आप एक बढ़िया प्रोजेक्ट्स बना सकते हैं, एक बढ़िया प्रोजेक्ट बिल्ड कर सकते हैं। और अपन इस केस के अंदर इनमें से जो मैंने 3 प्रोजेक्ट्स यहाँ पे दी, इनमें से अब यहाँ पे मैंने सिर्फ 3 ही क्यों दिया, उसके ऊपर हम डिस्कस करने वाले हैं। सो रूल्स फॉर ए गुड प्रोजेक्ट, सबसे पहले बात करते हैं इट्स ए रियल प्रॉब्लम इट्स सॉल्व ए रियल प्रॉब्लम। तो देखो प्रोजेक्ट्स ऐसा होना चाहिए जो आपके एक रियल प्रॉब्लम को सॉल्व करे, आपकी या और लोगों की प्रॉब्लम को सॉल्व करे। अब ऐसा नहीं कि प्रोजेक्ट आपने कुछ ही बना दिया, लाइक एक पाइथन की स्क्रिप्ट बना दी या फिर कोई छोटा मोटा टूल बना दिया, तो ये आपके प्रोजेक्ट्स में कंसिडर नहीं होता। कुछ प्रोजेक्ट्स ऐसा होना चाहिए